You're Mick-losing. You're a Mick-loser. The Edmonton Mick-Oilers. That should be their new name.
You're listening to a hockey podcast where we talk about ice hockey and stuff. Yeah. Woo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this hockey pod. I am your host, Channelle, and we also have another host who is Molly. And we have another host. That's a VIP guest. That would be Jesse. He is here for part 2 for our NHL predictions. We are going to the West, everyone. Going to the West. And we're just going to jump right in because as if you listened to our last podcast, we had a lot to say, and we're going to have a lot more to say too. So let's just start right off the bat. How does that sound, guys?
Yeah.
Let's dive right into it.
Well, if you haven't listened to our previous podcast, then you're totally missing out. So you hit that pause, you go back an episode, and come back to us once you've really got learned on our hot takes.
Yeah, don't be rude.
Yeah.
I feel like some of them are already aging poorly.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So
it's early in the season, right? It's still early. Anything can happen.
2 months in. It's still early.
I mean, it
Nothing
wouldn't be
really
a new
happens.
NHL season if we didn't overreact to like 5 games in.
Overreact is an understatement. I don't know,
mean,
Molly,
you guys
if you saw.
you guys are just, dramatic Leaf fans. So
we're doing that
fine.
is true. That is true, but I have not seen a Leafs jersey on the ice in quite some time. And Game 5 in, there's already a Leaf jersey right on the ice. Someone just, yeeted their $200 plus, said, fuck it. The Leafs
that
suck.
one seemed a bit overdramatic.
Very dramatic. Did you see that, Molly?
If the Leafs fan were a star sign, they'd be Cancers. I'm sorry.
Oh my god! Yeah, I guess so.
That is actually my star sign.
Go cry about it later then.
Actually, we're gonna start talking about the Central Division, which is where Molly's team resides.
Yes, we are.
Mm-hmm. So let's just, because I'm sure Molly has a lot to say, we're just gonna get right into it. We're gonna start with number 8.
All right, so should we start from number 8? Should we all say it all together just to start it off?
Oh.
Man, it's gonna be awkward if we don't all have the same
3, 2, 1, and then say it. I think that'll be fun.
Do it.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Arizona Coyotes.
Oh my god! That makes me giggle.
You did it.
I wonder why. Let's hear from Molly. You tell me, and then we'll add on anything that maybe you've missed.
Okay, let's be honest with you. We have pinched their goalie.
True.
They traded away their 2 best players, which is Kemper and Garland. So they're kind of like doing a Buffalo, I feel, where they're just kind of like getting rid of the good stock, starting a rebuild. So I think they'll just stay capital of the bottom.
Cuddle off the bottom.
Yeah, I have faith in them not getting many wins.
Yeah, they haven't even won yet, I don't believe. Oh, no, they haven't.
Nope.
Yeah, I agree with you, Molly. They did get... this is what Jesse said specifically. He called it the off-season fire sale that was going on with the Arizona Coyotes.
They really did try to get rid of everything.
Oh my god,
yeah.
complete rebuild mode, which to me I find is a little surprising. I did not think they were just going to go ham like that.
I think there's a bit of logic to it. Like, the team wasn't that great, and obviously they ended up having to dump away Hall and stuff like that, right? They decided to get rid of Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract in the offseason. Like you said, we're basically selling off everybody. They haven't traded away Phil Kessel yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets done at some point before the trade deadline, since he's on his last year. And
Exactly.
There was the rumor that they were looking at trading him, or that maybe wanted out anyways. So they've gone full rebuild mode. If there's one team that's trying to tank harder than Buffalo, it's going to be the Coyotes, and they seem to already be doing a more successful tank than Buffalo a few games in.
Yeah, but there's also some random additions with the Zingle and Galchenyuk.
Yeah, they fill in spots, right?
Yeah, you just fill in the gaps.
You
with
still need some
cheap.
guys to play. I think the worst thing that certain teams do when they tank is that they try to fill in the roster spots with like nobodies or some of their young prospects.
Former Leafs.
Excuse me?
Right? You don't want to like ruin your prospects on a terrible team necessarily.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying that most of the people you just said played on the Leafs for a bit, but also prove me wrong.
Kessel, Galley. Dzingel was a Kane
Travis
and
Boyd
a
is here
Sen.
too.
Boyd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's basically a Leaf at this point, so...
But,
oh, look, a former Leaf.
Oh, look, a former Leaf. Carter Hutton.
Yeah, Carter Hutton. I was just about to say that. That's the thing that makes me go, this team is tanking hard.
They are... You know what? They're the new... Dare I say they're the new Buffalo Sabre?
Well, they're doing it intentionally. Buffalo was not doing it intentionally at first.
Buffalo Sabre? Barely know her.
Wait a second. Maybe the Arizona Coyotes are up a stage for Halloween. 7th round picks, guys.
Preds.
I also went Preds.
Wow.
Oh, look at us. Unanimous.
It is unanimous. Okay.
You tell me why. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a bad team.
Tell me why.
Oh boy.
Honestly, I'm not too crazy familiar with the Preds. I feel like Jess probably knows a little bit more than me in this topic. I will say that their goaltending is You know, you got Saros, who is not the best, but he seems to be kind of getting better. And then they just acquired, or I don't know if he walked in free agency, but probably Riddick, which we just had. I don't know. It just doesn't look good. I don't know. Jesse, you have more to say. Tell me.
They have guys on paper that you figure should be better than they've actually been playing, but in the last few years we saw that it's not working, so I don't expect it to work again. Theoretically, we could see guys like Ryan Johansson and Matt Duchene have a bounce back season, right? Like maybe they get things going, but at this point, I'm not holding my breath. Roman Josi is still a pretty darn good defenseman, and Matthias Ekholm, they locked him up, and he's obviously great. So like it doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. There's been rumors that they were gonna trade him probably for the last 2 years. I think maybe a lot of people were hoping that their team would acquire a guy like him, but he's sticking around. And I agree with Channelle's opinion on the goaltending. It's not amazing. Saros, I think, has proven himself over time, playing behind Rinne and eventually taking over Rinne's position. But I don't have a lot of faith in Riddick as a backup. So that's why I'm not putting them any higher than 7th. They have enough experience that they could do better, but it's not super promising.
Do you have anything to add, Molly?
Kind of not. So, you know, we're saying the Coyotes are rebuilding by tearing down, rebuilding from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Preds are almost rebuilding on the fly, it seems. So, because they lost most of like their defense and goaltending, like their main defense and goaltending in like Arvidsson, Ellis, Ola, and also Rinne.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a big chunk gone. And it doesn't look like they've got the blocks to fill in the places. They've kind of like just put in silly string. So sorry, but they're not as bad as the Yotes, but they're a damn close second.
I feel like it's just been a really slow fall for them, you know, just slight progression downwards.
I absolutely agree with that. Totally. Like, when I started jumping back into watching hockey, I forget, Jesse, I think it was the 2016, 2017 season? They were at the top They were constantly doing good. And then every year after that, it was just, let's keep going down, down. Maybe a little consistency here. Okay, let's go down and down again.
Yeah,
I don't
ever
know.
since their appearance in the Cup Finals, they have been slowly going down.
Almost like they missed their shot.
Yeah, to be fair,
Yeah.
even that year where they made the Cup Finals, they technically came in as I think an 8th seed, if I remember correctly. It was like a surprise that they made it that far.
Yeah.
So technically, and then they weren't they? I think they won a President Trophy after that or something, right?
Oh, the kiss of death.
Like they had their moment in the sun, and then they slowly start to fade away.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
Hey, us two, man. Oh no. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Numero 6.
Yeah, number 6. Who did you say?
Did we put? Oh, I put. Okay, this was difficult. 5 and 6 were difficult, lemon difficult things.
Okay.
So they're kind of interchangeable for me because honestly, I haven't made up my mind.
Okay.
6, Blackhawks.
Ooh. Jesse.
I have also said the same thing. The Chicago Blackhawks, number 6.
Oh no.
Oh no!
It's not like, okay, it's kind of controversial, but I put the Stars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
I almost had them at 6 until I switched up some stuff.
That's
not bad.
That was my other choice. It was between those two. So.
Oh, okay. I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah. Don't feel bad.
Well then, yeah, Molly, tell me why you put Blackhawks there.
Because, well, they haven't been playing well for the last few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have Fleury doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a top 3 team. And he's not happy about it. So, yeah, I'm kind of like just... There's kind of like a big question mark of what the fuck is happening with the Blackhawks. Because honestly, mess. Big mess. Don't want to get involved. Don't want to touch that.
Fair enough. Jess?
Yeah, with the Blackhawks, I feel they did make some offseason moves to improve in a sense. Like, you can tell they're trying to get back into competitive mode. They want a playoff spot. They want to try and go for it again. Which is funny because last year they were basically saying, all right, we're going to try and rebuild a little bit, maybe change up a few things. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now we're going to force our way back into the playoffs with some aggressive moves. And I feel like some of those moves might not pay off. I'm still suspicious about them. And to be fair, we saw those first few games of the season. They haven't won yet. It's been kind of bad.
Yeah, it's been rough.
So maybe that's a sign that it won't go well. Like, part of me wanted to put them higher because they still have some great tools in their arsenal, right? They've still got Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, obviously, which those two, they might as well be like their own version of a Crosby and a Malkin to a certain degree. But Toews was missing for the entire year last year, so it's hard to say how well he's going to do this year after taking that time off. They'll finally get Kirby Dach, hopefully, for a full season. Hopefully he doesn't get injured, right? Alex DeBrincat is still great. They are wanting to offload Dylan Strome for some reason because he doesn't fit in their plans anymore. And then the acquisition of Seth Jones, contract only starts next year. So it's pretty yikes. And I think Marc-André Fleury, this might be his last year, especially if it doesn't go well for him. I have a feeling that he probably plays a lot better in Vegas than anywhere else, right? I think there's just something about...
Agreed.
The defense that was playing in front of him, plus just like the being in a place where he was comfortable, it was his home. This change might not necessarily work out for him, and it might not necessarily work out for the Blackhawks. So that makes me not so confident in this team.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'll dive into mine later for the Blackhawks, but
Oh yeah, true. You want to talk about the Stars, right?
The Stars.
The Stars? Yeah.
The Stars.
So I put the Dallas Stars in 6th place. What am I even going to say about this team? there are some pros. Why I'm not putting them in last place is because, they have some good players like rookie Robertson. Wait, is he a rookie?
Well, he was a rookie last year, so it's his second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he was nominated for the Calder last season.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So he's currently injured, right? So the top one of their top players, one of their hots, newbies, came in, did an amazing job, but now he's currently day to day. Who knows what that's going to do long term? I'm not quite sure. Sometimes people can bounce back fast, but you never know. Then you've got Klingberg and Holtby, also injury prone, and who knows when they're going to be able to play to their fullest potential. We've got another person placed on IR, Hakanapa. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Oh, I think Hakanpää is back now.
Oh, he's back?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, actually, I think he played the last game, and I think he had like a bit of a suspect hit on Drew Doughty there in their last game.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And then, you have some older, like you've got Pavelski on your team. Older, but he's good. But is he still gonna, is he gonna keep that up? I don't know. When does he start to falter, right? And then the biggest point that I'm saving for the last is Ben and Seguin. Last season they were injured, both of them. Is that right, Jesse? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I think they were injured
Ben
for
Bishop
a good chunk, right? Yeah, Ben Bishop too there. Of course, that's what I mean. They were missing big chunks last season.
Yeah, exactly. So this year we're hoping, or this season, are they going to do good? Are they going to be better? Are they going to be healthy for the entire season? If so, then yeah, I think they could grab the beautiful slot that is number 6.
Ooh, 6th place, wonderful position.
It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous spot. All right, number 5. Number 5. Not making the playoffs.
Dallas is where I put 5.
And me
Sorry,
too.
5 is where I put Dallas.
I put the 5th in Dallas position.
Oh.
Okay. So you and Jesse are literally so far.
Oh my god, we're so in sync right now.
Hey. And Channelle, then this is where you put the Blackhawks then? Is that it?
No.
Oh no. Oh, okay. So I thought we were just gonna have a reverse here, but okay, interesting.
No.
Oh, well, then me and Molly, if you want to go ahead first, what do you have to say about the Dallas Stars?
Well, I want to see them do better, basically. I'm not manifesting as much as I want Buffalo to do better, let's be honest here. But they do have a special place in my heart. I don't know why.
Really? Being a Colorado fan, I figured you just hate every other team in this division.
You'd think, but no, I have a soft spot for Stars and Wild. Ew. Gross.
Ew, that is gross.
Ew. But yeah, like Channelle was saying, they had a lot of setbacks last year, and I don't know if this is the bounce back time, because that's what we said about last year about Philadelphia, because they had a lot of people out, a lot of people coming back in, a lot of veterans coming back, and they didn't make the appearance that we were hoping and expecting from them. So I would have put Stars actually higher up, but I don't have that much faith in them due to, previous track records in the NHL. Didn't they pick up Suter?
They did.
But yeah, if Bishop gets back up to health as well, then that'll be brilliant. But they've got quite a crowded goaltending situation, don't they?
Oh yeah, I think that might be something in their favor where they have at least options.
Yeah.
Because Ben Bishop would theoretically be their starter and their best goalie if he hadn't been injured for now a year and a half basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Hudobin's proven himself in the past. Holtby had a rough year last year, but he seems to be off to a okay start. So maybe that works out. And then there's
Tenga.
Oh yes, it's Jake, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Just
Jake
call
Ottinger.
him Jake.
Yeah, it's Jake Ottinger.
Ottinger.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these hockey names, if you don't hear them before already, trying to figure out how to pronounce them on your own is usually a nightmare.
Yep.
That's what I love about hockey. The weirdest names sometimes.
I have a hockey last name.
Yeah, I guess. Very French. Yeah. Jake Ottinger was really good last year, actually. So I was kind of surprised that they signed Holtby because I thought they would just have Ottinger as their backup, and maybe he takes over depending on how well he plays. But like technically, he's still in the minors right now, I think. So we'll see if Holtby and Hudobin carry them, but I think they've got at least Ottinger in their back pocket in case that falters, and like you said, maybe Bishop comes back. So I think they're going to be good with goaltending. They usually are good enough, and same thing with their defense. Their defense is usually solid enough to carry the team in terms of like not losing too badly. The part that worries me is usually the offense, which it seems to be a problem with them every year. They just can never score enough to really make a difference. And since now a lot of the guys that were injured last season are back, hopefully that gets better. Maybe we'll see Sergei and Ben play up to their contracts this year, but we'll see. And like Channelle mentioned, Pavelski being older is a detriment probably to their situation, but he has had some good moments in Dallas so far in the playoffs and to some degree in the regular season as well. So he might be able to play up to like his best potential. I think, like you said, Robertson being out, it hurts them a little bit because he was actually providing a decent amount of offense for them last year, all things considered, as a rookie. So I think it would have been nice for them to have him right now, but since he's gone, it might be a little bit of an issue. So I think 5 is a fair spot for them. Not great, but not terrible either.
And then me, I guess. I put the Jets.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
Listen, yeah, I put the Winnipeg Jets in 5th place. I just feel like this team kind of looks the same. If they haven't done great before, why would they do it now? I just don't see like a complete surge from them. I feel like if anything, they'll stay put. And they usually find themselves around the 4th, 5th spot, don't they? I'm pretty sure. The good news is they do have, well, what I just said. The people that they do have are the people that have been around for a while and are pretty good, in my opinion. They have a lot of important forwards like Kyle Connor, Stastny, Wheeler, Ehlers. Although Ehlers currently is not doing the best, like he's kind of having a slow start. We'll see if he picks it up later. And then there's this other factor that we have not thought about because it's really just a wild card. But COVID. And they do have, didn't they just get Dylan? What's his name?
DeMello or?
Dylan and Schmidt. And then let's do our number 4 then.
Hmm?
This is where I put Blackhawks.
Okay. All
right. Okay.
That's a lot of confidence there, and now that I'm looking at it.
All right, since we've already talked about the Hawks, do you want to say your piece on the subject?
Yeah, you basically said everything. I will say I did put them higher because I'm not stupid. Marc-André Fleury is good, and I don't think that any other team would make him be bad. I just don't think he's capable of that. He's a Vezina winner. He's great, and if the Blackhawks need anything, it's a star like him, really. So, I don't know, maybe that's why I put him higher than 5th. I would have put them in 5th, so the only reason why I'm giving them an upper hand is because of Marc-André Fleury. But I also am keeping an eye on Kirby Dach. I'm very interested in him. Hopefully his wrist is better. I think it was his wrist that got injured in the World Juniors. So I'm just keeping an eye on those 2 specifically, and then we'll see with the rest. That's all I got to say about that.
So do you believe Marc-André Fleury can turn it around for these guys off the poor start?
Absolutely. It just might take a little bit of time. But I think he can come through. I'm going to keep an eye on it. We'll talk about it in the future. I have faith. And what about you, Molly? What did you put in your 4 spot?
The Blues.
Mm.
St. Louis.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you, Jesse?
You can go ahead and talk about the Blues first. My pick's different, so we'll all have things to say.
Ooh, okay.
A change. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Right.
This is a chaotic podcast.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Not
you
as
have
chaotic as us, though.
It's true.
I forgot you have a blues bias, right? Like a negative
like
blues
them.
bias. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't put them last. I
That's true.
put them in fourth. Let's be honest. I'm being nice here because they've made some good life choices in the off season. Unlike the Canes, they've made good life choices. So they picked up. Who'd they pick up? I'm gonna get his name wrong.
Buchnevich. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, they picked him up. Pretty good goal scorer there. And I think he'd be a good lineman with like O'Reilly. You know, oh look, a former Av. And I think that he's just a good egg to be on this team because we know the blues is, blues is the color that you're going to be after you play this team. So it'd be nice to have some better egginess in this team, so to speak. Who else they got? Brandon Sard. I can see that being good for them. I mean, their defense hasn't really changed too much, which is where they struggle, I feel. But you never know. Binnington might be better. Who am I kidding?
I hope not.
Trashington. We're gonna talk shit about Binnington again and make him like cry because honestly, I would.
I think we're bullying him.
Can you just stop? I feel like they're gonna be a little bit more competitive this year with their good life choices. So I'm being nice, being fair, putting them in
so far. I'll jump back in here. I'll say that the Blues have won so far all of their first games, and Binnington is off to a decent start. So who knows? Maybe this year it'll work out for them.
Right.
He's a good goalie.
Molly doesn't want it to.
He's a good goalie. He's a good player, but also he's a trash human being, and I want him to be a dumpster fire, literally. I'm a violent person. I'm a Scorpio. Come at me.
Please don't call the police, people.
Arson is the solution. Anyway, who have you got for number 4, Jesse?
I picked the Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild.
So, as we saw last season, Minnesota actually made some surprising progress. They actually did pretty good, and it seems to all be thanks to one player, really. Kirill Kaprizov, obviously. Thankfully, they managed to retain him. He's going to stick around for a bit. So now the whole plan is basically, I think, just build a good team around him and see if you can get something going. I will say, though, aside from that, the reason I have them not higher than 4th is that I'm still a little suspicious about the rest of the team. They haven't really made any improvements. If anything, they've kind of downgraded a little bit. Obviously, getting rid of the Parise and Suter contracts was a choice. It's interesting. Yeah, you gain temporary cap space for like 1 year, and then you're immediately sacrificing your future cap space dramatically, right? They're losing like, I think it's like 12 million, then 14 million, then 14 million, something like that. It's very dramatic.
It's gross, honestly.
And like Parise, I understand because he was starting to, his age is showing a little bit, but I think Suter was still at least decent defensively to the point where he could have still upheld his side of things. That's why I was surprised to see both of them bought out, because obviously the money is ridiculous, and then you have no players to show for that. I feel like at least if they would have kept Suter, maybe it would have been not as bad. But that's why he gets paid in Dallas now, because he was still technically playing well enough. But and then the money instead they put towards Alex Goligoski on a 1 year like $5 million something contract. So I'm like, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But aside from that, the rest of the team is still solid enough. Joel Eriksson Ek has been really proving himself, I think, lately, and so far to begin the season as well. He had like a hat trick in one game. And like the rest of their defense is still solid enough with Dumba, Spurgeon, Brodin. Cam Talbot proved himself, I think, last year. So if everything keeps up, the team doesn't look like super spectacular, but with the solid pieces that they have, plus the X factor of Kaprizov, makes me think that they should be competitive enough. So I landed them in 4th place.
I'm just going to jump right in with the number 3 since you guys already touched base on it. But I put the Blues in the 3rd spot.
Okay.
The reason is exactly why you said you were worried, but they look pretty much the same. Not much has changed, which is technically good, but it's not good enough. Let's just say it's not good enough. They have lost first twice in a row. First lost in the first round. Sorry, twice in a row. They have their good forwards that have stayed, which is why I'm putting them higher because O'Reilly, Perrin, Shen, Tarasenko, all have stuck around, and they're good enough. They are really good. Molly said it. They had some good acquisitions as well. I also will add James Neal. I don't know if he was getting better because of some would say Connor McDavid's a really good person to play with. But I don't know. He was doing really, really good with the Oilers, and I'm wondering if it was just a fluke because he was with those particular people, or I know he didn't always play with him on the top line. I believe he was, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd, babe.
I forget. But I think it is a scenario of he was in the right situation for a while. He did start off hot with his tenure with the Oilers, but it petered out eventually. They ended up buying him out inevitably because the contract was still way too much. So I still think he can contribute. Which is why I'm not sure. Yeah, he'll definitely contribute. I just don't know if he's going to be as hot as before, getting 5 points in a single game. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't see him as a critical piece, more of just a
cute
good
piece.
Bonus.
A little cute little piece right there that they stuck in. And we don't have to talk about Binnington. I'll just say he's good, therefore he's probably going to come back, considering most of his years has been good, and one he had faltered. So we'll see. That's it for me.
Okay.
Oof. Number 3 for you guys. Who's making the playoffs?
Wild.
Avi.
Wild. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because they almost had Vegas in the playoffs last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was an intense series.
Yeah, it was.
That was intense.
So fun.
Almost went camping. She's back with the terrible jokes this week. Woohoo!
Hey.
You're on fire, Molly.
Shit. Put me out.
Oh my god.
Stop it right now. Oh Lord.
It's fine. Yeah, you basically covered everything for Wild. Eriksson Ek is pretty promising. Kaprizov, he's pretty damn good. They've still got their strong defense. It's not great defense, but it's still pretty good. Spurgeon there and Dumba, like you said. Yeah. So I'm just happy with how they are. I think the Parisi Suter move was dumb. And it surprised everyone, including Parisi and Suter. So
you could say that.
What's going on there? What? So who knows? They might pull something out their ass. They might not. But no, I loved how they were playing in the playoffs against Vegas there because fuck the Knights. Come at me, Knights fans. Come at me. I'll just shove you into Binnington.
Hey, you're not even real fans. You only started liking this team randomly. They've been here for a day?
Yeah. Who are you? Kraken, we love you. Kraken fans, you can stay. Knights fans, I'd say words here, but we might be banned. Yeah. So Jesse, moving on.
My number 3 pick was the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh my god! What the heck?
Yeah, because I feel like they're always competitive enough that they usually come towards a playoff spot. It was just a matter of figuring out where they fit in, and I'm not sure if obviously they've been off to a slow start and things have gone in their way a little bit. So 3 might be a bit optimistic, but we'll see. They still have a good enough team that they should be competitive. They should be making the playoffs, I think. Obviously, like you mentioned, the bad luck at first with Wheeler and Shifley out because of COVID protocol. That's like yikes. But COVID theoretically doesn't take you out that long, so they should be back. The worst luck would be if they get some sort of outbreak situation, or like there's a player who has like recurring health issues after COVID. That would be incredibly disruptive and upsetting. But otherwise, they should be okay. Their main X factor, obviously, Connor Hellebuck makes a huge difference. He's the kind of goaltender where, like, if he gets hot, he could carry them very far. But what makes it harder for him to do that is the defense in front of him. I think it's not the best defense core ever, but I do give them credit for improving in the offseason. I do think the addition of Schmidt and Dillon will make a difference. How much of a difference, I don't know. I just know that it's going to be probably better than last year. And I really hope Pierre-Luc Dubois finds his game there, because last season was kind of rough. So hopefully he gets a mulligan this year and things go better. But I'm still a big fan of Connor and Ehlers, and I think they have enough to make it.
I think you're wrong, but
Oh.
I do like the Jets, by the way. I am a fan of the Jets.
Yeah, you were like a really big Hellebuck girl, but putting them basically in last place there, like, oof.
Basically in last. Well, yeah, kind of. You're not wrong. Molly, what's your second pick?
Jets.
Okay,
yeah.
Jets.
Yeah. Basically, Jets is the only team I can see Avs giving a run for their money. Just
wow.
That's why I put them there. I know that their GM is wanting to build the defense more this season, so it'll be interesting to see what actually happens there. And I only started really paying attention to the Jets because of last year. Just because of, they sweep? They swept.
Yeah, they swept the Oilers, but then they got swept by the Canadiens.
Yeah, we'll just talk about the first bit against the Oilers, because let's be honest. Canadians aren't a team, okay? They are a construct, a hallucination that the Quebecois have made us think about. Anyway.
Oh my
god. Oh my god, Carey Price isn't real? He can't be real, he's too good.
He's amazing, yeah.
I haven't been drinking, by the way. This is just me on point.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Jets, I just think that they're gonna keep it up. This is when I wrote my predictions, I was like, yeah, Jets, second place. They've got a good depth down the middle there. Like, they've got strong top six. 2 of them have got the coof, but we won't talk about that. But the COVID won't last that long, hopefully, for them. Please get better. Stay safe, guys. But yeah, I honestly see them getting to the playoffs, doing well, going out second round.
Well, I hope I eat my words.
That sounds realistic. A first or second round exit for the Jets.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, Jess, you go.
All right, my number 2 pick is the St. Louis Blues.
Right.
Ooh.
I think the team is still solid enough that they should be up there, and I think they actually managed to, I want to say improve, but just a slight improvement in the offseason. Enough to keep them competitive and be slightly better. But, I don't see them rocketing to the top of the division, but I think they are competitive enough. They have been a little unlucky in the last few years. It seems like it hasn't gelled 100% perfectly, right? They've had some issues, but it's a promising start. Like we said, Binnington is off to a decent start. So if everything holds together, this team should actually do very well. Like, they still got some great players, obviously. Like you said, O'Reilly and Perron are still there doing great. Shen is still great. I feel like we're going to see some progress from Kyrou. The one thing that worries me is their backup goaltending. Villoso had a really bad year last year, and they didn't do anything to change that situation. So maybe their goaltending makes them lose a few extra games with Ville Husso in net, but we'll see. Maybe Binnington has to carry the load. I don't know. Oh yeah, and the acquisition of Saad. I think Saad signing him in the offseason was pretty good. He always seems to be a pretty solid forward, adding some depth scoring. So he should fit in their top six well enough when he's back into the lineup. My only other thing that I'm not sure about is the whole Tarasenko situation. Right, he wanted to be traded, but then he didn't get traded, so now he kind of has to play out. We'll see how that goes. Does he stick around or not? You know.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice for him if he can find his game again, because the poor guy's been injured so much as of late. But he's a great goal scorer.
I have the Wild in second place.
All right.
Okay.
Listen, I love them. It's personal. I love the Minnesota Wild. I don't know why, but I really do. And part of it was, Suter and Parise. I'm pretty sad they're gone. I'm not gonna lie. But I do think that they do have a future here with Kaprizov. He's the one who won the Calder last season, and they have signed him at 5 years for $9 million. I think it's a good contract. He's going to do wonders with the team. If you even look at the stats currently, right now, he's keeping it up right next to Zuccarello, who is going to take this team far, in my opinion. Maybe not all the way to the end, but at least to top two is what I think, anyways. Zuccarello, there's only... How many games have they played already? I think they've played 3 games, and he has 5 points. You expect him to score, obviously. More so assists, but whatever. Just whatever. As long as you're making points, that's what matters, right? Him and Kaprizov are really going to propel this team forward. I do think that their core is not glamorous, but... they have Kaprizov. Woohoo. Besides that, the goalies are pretty good. You've got Talbot. He had a good year last year. Kakkonen is a solid backup. The only thing that I am not so sure of is, are they going to take a run for the cup right now? Because the next 3 years, as Jesse mentioned, misery. It's just absolutely, it's terrible. Terrible. Yes. I'm really nervous for them and how they're going to figure out their cap situation and how to, puzzle together the lines. Oh, I will say, though, that I agree and disagree with you, Molly, about the defense. I think their defense is quite good. Obviously, Spurgeon, but Borden and Dumba are pretty solid every year. So I just think it's comfortable. It's a comfortable team. And they might go forward with the 2 players. You guys all said the rest, so.
Yeah,
So
we're all kind of saying the same things.
Yeah, we really are just saying the same thing.
We're mostly on the same page, right? And I'm assuming we're all on the same page for who's our number 1 pick.
Oh my god, now we all come back together. 1, 2, 3.
Avalanche. I will say the first few games have put things in doubt a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to put Avalanche second, but then I was like, who would I put first?
Facts.
Yeah, it still feels like that.
Binnington in first. Oh my god. The thought just makes me sick. Yeah, so Avalanche looking good. However, they've had the President Trophy touch, so who knows? They're hungry. McKinnon has stated he's miffed at their playoff performance. So I don't know if that's going to affect how they're going to be this season. Losing Grubauer, heart-wrenching.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Hurt me. But also, I'm glad it wasn't Landskog. So a lot
it
of
was
drama
getting scary
happened.
there for a bit.
Yeah, I was actually not sleeping because I was worried. So
I did that with Nylander a few years ago.
Stop, don't even. This team shouldn't be affecting my sleep like it does.
Yep.
Especially for someone who can't watch most of their games because of sleep.
Literally, yeah.
How does it make sense?
True.
But we did pick up good boy Kemper there. So obviously he's not the same caliber as Grubauer.
Mm-mm.
but he's still good. But I don't know how.
Kemper, if he can get his if things work out, I think he could perform at Grubauer's level or maybe even better, depending.
Yeah, he's
'Cause
got
he
so
was-
much potential.
Exactly, he was really good with Arizona, despite Arizona being pretty mediocre. Like he was keeping them a lot in games pretty frequently. The thing that worries me more is injuries. He gets injured a lot, and that could definitely cause issues.
Well, the thing is, we had Valamov for a very long time, and he was very injury prone. So we're used to injury prone goalies. We're used to just saying goalie out, open net.
Pavel Francouz, anybody?
Don't. We'd rather have an open net, apparently.
Well, you might with him. He's just never in there. He's injured again, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Again.
He's like,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not even on the ice and you're injured. What did you do? Trip over coming into the stadium?
Oh my god.
Does it count as a work injury then if it was on site?
This time, at least he did get injured in a game, right? He was hurt during a preseason game, I believe.
Yeah, he was. I know.
Youch. Some people just can't catch a break.
We didn't lose too many players in the off-season. Newhook's gone down to the AHL, which I'm surprised at. But I think it might be just for contract reasons.
Yeah, he's still young, and I don't think he doesn't have to clear waivers, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have to clean the waivers, clear the waivers. We lost Brandon Sard and Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, who are really good supporting assets. But the thing is we've still got McKinnon, we've still got Landskog, who are our main scorers. Really, we've still got Kadri. Please don't Kadri on us, Kadri. And we still got your boy Kale. So I have faith. We've still got good defense. We've still got good offense. Goaltending, I've put a question mark.
My worry is the forward depth, I think. That top line is like crazy good, obviously. Second line is pretty decent. And then when you get into that bottom six, it starts being a little bit of who? If you're... I would say as a non-Colorado fan, I don't pay attention to them as much. When I look at some of the names in that bottom six, I'm like, I've never heard of you. I've never heard of you. I've never heard of you. And it makes me go, how good is this bottom six?
That's kind of saying a lot because Jesse knows a lot of players.
Like, obviously, Burakovsky's good and Logan O'Connor's not bad, right? Darren Helm is just a fill-in, but I don't think I've ever heard of Sampo Ranta, Jason Megna, Mikhail Maltsev.
Ranta's newer. He's not playing too badly.
Megna's been around before, right?
Yeah, Maltsev's played before as well.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at is there anyone that I don't know? No, that's because I know my team, so I can't really help you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We can tell you all the depth of all the random pieces in Toronto, but the bottom six pairings of certain teams, every so often you'll have some names that you look at and you go, huh?
We've gotta raise the volume at Molly going, okay.
You should see my face right now. Like, my eyebrow can't be raised any higher. I'm like, really, guys? Who are these players? Like, who is this? Who is this Kale McCarr? Who's this Mikko Rantanen?
Well, no, I mean, obviously those guys. I mean, like I said, the defense is stacked. The defense is not a problem.
Oh god, we're so stacked. We got Gerard, Johnson, and Johnson.
I mean, just kill McCarr on its own, right?
McCarr, who's offense and defense in one beautiful human being. Like,
yes.
That kid's gonna win a Norris eventually, right? Like,
oh, for 100%. Sure. He's so good. Let me throw in something here. Since you two are going at it, I only have one thing to say since you guys covered everything else, and that is who Landeskog.
All of them.
It is a compliment. So,
if you average out all the hair on the team, they have the best average hair.
There you go, Molly. He agrees with you.
Yes.
No. No one has said this yet. No one has said this yet. But JT Compher.
Yes.
Yeah. So He is already doing really, really good. So last season, they only played 48 games, and he made 18 points, something like that, 18 to 20 points. And this season, he's already he is averaging a game a point. Well, that works too, but a point a game. And I think that if he can keep this up, yeah, he could be like one of those surprising heroes of the team. Not like he's good. I just think that he can pick it up with the team. It's hard to get out in the spotlight when you are surrounded by all these stellar players with beautiful hair. It's really hard to get attention. So I just wanted to give him some love and say that he's doing very, very well so far.
He is. He's getting more ice time as well. So I
rewarded.
Feel like,
he's rewarded.
Yeah, he's being rewarded because he did play really decently in the playoffs. Like, he was in the right places. So I feel like he's gonna expand on his talents this year. There's a lot of players that I'm thinking about that on the Avalanche, and I'm really excited to see where this team is going to go, especially with the goaltending situation. That's the only thing I've got a question mark over. Yeah. But everyone else has been like working really, like, they're all names which I'm like, oh, that's gonna be great to see on the ice, or oh, they're gonna make some good plays, and I'm normally rewarded with I was right. So yeah. I'm excited to see where this team is going. If it's up, yay. If it's down, okay. Like, she's not mad. And thanks for standing my team. Thank you.
Oh yeah, we all put your team in first. Like, that's good. That's good, yeah. Molly. Your team's good. You lucky beach. All right, we're all in. Check. Everyone's in. Say yes. Okay, we're in.
We.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into the Pacific.
Yeah.
Specifically,
who did you put in number 8? Specifically, though.
Do we all have the same number 8 this time again, or no?
Can I just do a disclaimer?
Okay, so I guess Molly does not have the same number 8 as us.
I don't know, because this league I kind of had fun with, where I didn't really look at the stats. I just kind of like read a little bit about it, made my own opinions, and was like, that'll do, pig, kind of thing, you know?
You're doing like a vibe thing?
Yeah, I kind of like felt the auras of each team and put them accordingly in place.
Okay, so you hear that here, everyone. Jess and I are gonna talk about the teams, but Molly's gonna do an aura reading, okay? So if you're a fan of any of these teams, you'll get the aura for free.
Yeah, but also pay me.
Oh, okay. No, well then you have to pay her, sorry.
Yeah. I'll tell you what color they are.
So what color is number 8 then, Molly?
It's a shit color palette from the 90s. It's the Ducks.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I also picked the Ducks for 8th place.
No, I put the Sharks.
Oh,
Jeremy's gonna hate you.
Jeremy! I'm sorry.
Well then, Molly, should we trash the Ducks first?
Yeah.
Ducks will never acquaint to anything, as they were literally made after a movie which wasn't even any good.
I mean, they won at least a cup in that time span.
That's true. That same year that they got the jersey, eh?
True. Yeah, the first year that they got rid of the Mighty in the Ducks, they won.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of duck goes on ice anyway?
True.
It's a duck to water, not duck to ice.
You heard?
Yeah. Literally, I'm not taking this league seriously, because how can I? I can't. Anyway, serious people, you talk serious hockey now. Enough of my...
Well, I'll say Anaheim, I think, is a safe pick for last this year in the Pacific. They've been pretty terrible for the last few years now. They're clearly, obviously, in a rebuild, but it seems like it's been a lot more of a slow rebuild. Like, they're not trading away too many assets, but they're also not, like, I don't know. It seems like it's a sort of like passive rebuild. They've just kind of been letting themselves get worse and then just waiting for prospects to get better, I guess. That's what it seems to be the approach so far. Obviously, the points of excitement are going to be Trevor Zegras and We're probably going to want to see more from Maxime Comtois. I think they were slotting in Mason McTavish this year. So this is all promising young forwards that hopefully, do some sort of progress with the team. But the rest is a lot of the old guard that just seems to be, they're not doing it anymore, you know what I mean? Adam Henrique's getting too old. Ryan Getzlaf, also obviously too old. They re-signed him for an extra year. I'm assuming just to be a sort of like leadership figure for the youth, which, makes sense. But other than that, the other contracts that are expiring too, right? There's Raquel, Hampus Lindholm, and Josh Manson. All their contracts are about to expire this year as well as Getzlaf. So I'm wondering if they're going to have a big changing of the guard in the offseason with all those guys, I would assume, leaving. If not, they might get like traded at the deadline, right? Since they're on their last year, it might be some good pieces to trade away and acquire some draft picks in return or something like that. So that's my assumption for what they're going to be doing this year. But John Gibson can always carry this team to some extra wins. He's a pretty damn good goaltender. But
classic goaltendy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, we can't forget Drysdale on the back end. He's obviously the other young prospect we want to see flourish. But other than that, it's a very, very bad team. They've had a few decent wins though to start the season, so who knows? But I don't see them being above last. I find it hard to see.
Jesse, that's a perfect transition for me. Okay.
Okay.
Because looking at the Pacific right now, I don't know what's going on. There's quite it's a very interesting. The positioning right now is very interesting. I did put the Sharks last, thinking that maybe it would just be kind of an upset for them. But I don't know if I could say that now. I know it's just the first couple of games, the first few games, but the Sharks have not lost yet. And then you have Vegas right at the bottom being complete losers. So I'm not sure how this is going to go, if my picks are going to look good or really are just going to make us all go, okay, well, we don't know anything and nothing is real.
Yeah, I felt like the Pacific was the opposite of the Metro this year when we were doing our picks, because with the Metro, there were so many good teams that it was hard to tell which teams would actually make the top and which teams would unfortunately have to, end up in the bottom. While the Pacific, I feel like there's so many mediocre or bad teams that it's like, who actually ends up at the bottom and who actually manages to get a playoff spot? Like I think we might get some surprises in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't say much about the actual team because the team just is the team. They have good players, but also they haven't really lived up to their name quite yet. I mean, Carlson is looking good so far, obviously, so I can't really say much. I understand now that apparently Carlson thinks he's the shit, and he knows he's the shit. Which I like. Go off, King. Get your money. But also stop getting your money. Those contracts are nasty.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of you because my number 7th pick is the San Jose Sharks.
There you go.
But again, like you said, I'm feeling a little less confident now, considering that those first 4 games have been surprisingly good for them.
Absolutely.
Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns and Marc-Edouard Vlasic, those contracts are really weighing the team down. But
garbage.
Karlsson's off to a good start. If he can actually play up, actually have a bounce back, that could really help them out. But aside from that, nothing has really changed that much from the last year's team. So that's why I was still pretty low on them to start, right? Like, there's not much of a difference. But Jonathan Dahlen has looked promising to start. And William Eklund as well, right? They acquired him in the offseason during the draft, so already he's in the lineup. I think there is some promising pieces here, but it's still not a super impressive roster. And so, they could definitely fall back again like they did last year, but who knows? Maybe because of the Pacific being iffy, they could squeeze into a playoff spot, a little bit of a surprise.
Be fine.
But, I think the big major differences that might help them out here is that last year, for the last few years, actually, the goaltending's been Martin Jones, and they just could not get a save percentage above 900 with him. It just wasn't happening. It was really frustrating for them, obviously. And I wasn't sure early on coming into the season with the additions of Reimer and Aiden Hill. Hard to say. So I still feel like there's not enough there for me to put them higher, but the beginning is promising. So who knows? They might surprise us this season, the Sharks. I'm sure Jeremy would be happy if his team finally decides to do better.
Shark out of water. Shark in water?
7th pick for me. Surprise, surprise. She put Knights.
Ooh,
wait, what?
What?
Excuse me?
I mean, she's not off this. She's not off so far.
I mean, garbage does garbage. They've lost players. They no longer have the luxury of 2 elite goalies. Yes, we stan Lena with his 0.918%, what do you call it, saved percentage. And Brossois, oui, with 908. So they're good, but are they fleury? Because he was impenetrable back there. Amazing goalie. Amazing. The playoffs last year. Nail biting. Could we get past him? No. But we know their power play is not powerful. So has that gotten worse? Yeah, they've lost Reeves. They've lost the person which distracts everybody by punching people.
I gotta say, that out of all the hot takes that you've done so far in your picks, this has got to be your hottest.
Yeah, I want Vegas fans to come at me. Yeah, come see if you can punch me, hey? I'll start a fight with you. Like I said, I'm not afraid of arson. Come on, bring it. If I go to jail, you know why.
It's this podcast right here.
Yeah, so this is... But yeah, that's why I put Knights in 7th. Like I said, disclaimer, this is a absolutely chaotic pick league for me. So yeah. Channelle, who did you put in 7th?
In 7th place, this is where I put the Ducks. So I'm not like crazy far off from you guys. You know, I'm not insane. But yeah, I put the Ducks there. The Ducks. I think that the reason I didn't put them in the last place spot is because they have this moment to showcase their young guns with what Jesse said, you know, Maxime Comtois, Trevor Zegras, and Mason McTavish. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to play and how they're going to impact the game with the Ducks. I don't have much to say different than you guys. I'm interested to see if Getzlav is he in his last year, Raquel. Yeah, I just think that they have enough good new players to not put them in the last place spot. Does that make sense? I think so. I just don't want to pile on when you guys said what you needed to say. It makes sense. I agree. Quack, quack.
That's fair. Oftentimes, when we think there's an obvious last place team, it's not always that team that ends up last. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Unless it's the Sabres.
Unless it's the Sabres.
Even the Sabres, right? We see this year so far, they're off to a promising start. Maybe they don't end up last and somebody else surprises us with the last place spot, you know?
And that's hockey for you.
The first few months is chaotic, and then it comes to January and everyone gets back in their box.
That's true, yeah.
Get back in your box.
You're not supposed to be good. Go back to being shit.
It's fool's gold, false promises.
Oh my god.
Should we move on to 6?
Yep. Absolutely. Here, I'll just jump in this one since I didn't really have much to say in the last. I put the Kings. Anyone else?
I also have the Kings at number 6.
Okay. And Molly? Don't. No, but you did say.
I have the Oilers at 6, so.
Holy wow, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll let you guys discuss Kings first.
Okay. Yeah, the Kings, in the offseason, they got Ardvinson and Philip Deneau. So I think that's a pretty good pickup, in my opinion. I don't know what Jesse thinks. I think it's pretty okay.
I agree. Philip Deneau is a really good defensive center.
No, Deneau. Yeah,
quite the loss for Montreal, quite the get for the Kings.
Mm-hmm. He didn't want to be there anymore. He foresaw the 5-0 loss. He said, nah, I'm out of here. Adios. Or more so,
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Ouais.
À bientôt.
À plus tard.
À plus tard, you know. Okay, and they also have a lot of veteran forwards, which has always been the case with the LA Kings. In my opinion, they're an older team. They don't, with the exception of Byfield, they don't have many rookies. They're just a bunch of impact vets. You've got Kopitar, classic Kopitar, Dustin Brown. You know, they're good. They know what this team's about. The rookie, I don't know, Jesse. Is he injured? Byfield?
Yes, Byfield is currently on the
Shit.
IR.
Shit, that sucks though, and that's
this
why
is one of my
sixth.
disappointments. I want to see Byfield finally like really get a chance to show what he's got, because like he didn't really play last year, right? So, but right off the bat, injury, and then who knows how long that'll take. So,
and then, wait, I have one more thing to say.
Oh, go for it.
It's very important, and it's about goalies. Jonathan was quick. Jonathan is now slow. And that's all. Next.
Oh my god. I feel like looking now at our picks, we definitely have a sort of recency bias having all three California teams at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how it's been now for the last 2 years. But I think if there's a team that has the potential to make some gains, it is the Kings. The acquisition of Arvidsson in the offseason was definitely a nice, like almost like a steal. Basically, they got him for pretty cheap. And like you mentioned, Dano was a great addition, but I still think there's enough young talent here that they could move forward. But now, seeing Byfield hurt makes me think that they might not make as much progress. Plus, I think we just got news that Drew Doughty is day-to-day with injury, so they lose technically their top defenseman from a hit last night, I believe. So that's a little worrisome. I think their defense core is okay, but it's definitely not as great once you remove Doughty. But Anze Kopitar, man, is on fire right off the bat. And like he always seems to keep going no matter the age. Like he is...
Oh, he's captain for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. He's great. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I couldn't put them higher than 6 at the moment.
Okay. 5th.
Oh no, Molly needs to explain her 6th choice because we're very curious to hear what she has to say about this one.
I don't
have
the
Oilers
to explain.
She didn't feel it.
Yeah, orange isn't my favorite color. No, so we know they did exceedingly well in the Canadian leagues because, well, it's not really much competition. Sorry, don't come at me. But
I'm not going to disagree with that one.
I feel like it was very unbalanced last year's conferences because we had some that were really tricky, we had some which were really easy, and I feel like with Canadian conference you had 2 standout teams, which is the Leafs and the Habs, and the rest. So I haven't seen the Oilers really do much in terms of improving what they lack. So I put them in 6th because I can't see them keeping it up. Like, they're going to start off strong, but then what?
Well, they're off to a very strong start, right? They've won 5 games in a row now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's right. Are they going to keep that up?
Is it just going to be the McDavid-Draisaitl kind of like tandem show again?
Oh, well, most definitely. They're always going to be the ones carrying the team the most. It's just a matter of do they get support or not.
Yeah, that's the thing is, can they do it another year where it's just a 2-player team? I don't know.
A 2-player team. They've got Hyman now. That's good.
Sorry, 4 players because of Barry. Tyson Barry.
Yeah, true.
Even poor Tyson Barry is all I'm going to say is he had it really rough with the Leafs. Like, really freaking rough.
Yeah, wanted him so bad. Me and Jesse, I think Jesse and I were very both excited to see he was in our freaking roster, but yeah, didn't turn out that way, did it?
Yeah, no, I was happy with the move at the beginning of that season, and then by the end of it, it was like, well, this was a disappointment.
He just wasn't him. And
don't get me wrong.
Okay.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. Don't hurt my boy.
Absolutely,
I'm sorry
I would
I put
never.
him so low, but I'm sorry he's in a 2-person team and he's not one of those 2 people. Moving on.
Oh, now we're doing 5. Who has no chance of making the playoffs at all?
Sharks.
Sharks?
Yeah, I put Sharks here because I didn't want Jeremy to hate me.
Yeah, oh boy.
Only reason. Didn't put them last. Sorry.
Jesse?
For number 5, I have the Canucks.
Me too.
Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Me
Well, Molly, do
too.
you want to close off the book on the Sharks for us?
They don't look like a playoff team.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can
Yeah.
you tell? I've got all the research at the moment on this league.
She's got, you did a lot of, I mean, you sounded great for all the other teams, but you're like, the Pacific, throw it in the trash.
I'm like, I'll do the Knights. That's about it.
Okay, well, you know.
Anyway, you guys continue. let the adults talk now.
The Knox. You know what? I'll do, Jesse, you go first, because I will probably have some personal opinions here, so.
Okay, all right. Well, the Canucks, I feel like they are better than last year. I think last year was a throwaway year for them. The COVID outbreak too really hurt them. There was just it wasn't going well for them last year. So I think no matter what, they will be better than last year. They'll make some progress, but I don't think it's enough for them to make a huge difference, right? Like I don't see they could theoretically make the playoffs. If they do, I'd see them doing it as a lower seed, but my expectation is for them to maybe just miss out. You know, like be right under the playoff line. Hopefully, Pedersen is healthy this year, and same for Besser. Right, they've been having injury troubles a little bit last year, Pedersen especially. So I think this will definitely make the team better just having them there in the first place. Right. The acquisition of Connor Garland, I really like. I think that was a good move. I also like the acquisition of Jason Dickinson because they really need some good defensive forwards. I think they've often struggled with that. And I'm excited to see Niels Hoglander keep playing, seeing if he can keep developing, and just the addition of Podkolzin. Finally, hopefully getting some time in the lineup. All promising things. It's the defense that really worries me because I'm not really confident in Tyler Myers. Tucker Poolman addition is iffy. And then that bottom pairing is just yikes. And I don't know if Ekman Larson is going to be able to find back his game here. And if Ekman Larson it becomes a liability, like if he can't get back up to where he was in the past, like in his peak years in Arizona, I could see this move aging very poorly. Mm-hmm. I will give them credit, though, a bit on the goaltending side of things. I think Demko is only going to get better as he grows. And Halak might not be enough of a difference maker to maybe push them into a higher spot, but he has been a consistently solid backup goaltender for a long time. So I would expect him to at least hold the fort down well enough. You know what I mean? I feel like if Demko has some rough patches, I think Halak should be good enough to take over and be solid. You know, probably better than what we saw from Holtby last year anyways. So that's my impression on the Canucks.
No, I completely agree with you, and so that's why I'm going to throw in a little bit of positives, but not enough to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? Just bouncing off of what you said, Demko. Literally in my notes, I have Demko takes the lead and has Halak as a backup. Oh my god, so cute! What a cute little group. I love my goalies. So, as you already know, Demko is one of my fave. Goalie girl. And Demko has beautiful eyes, so everyone leave me alone on that. And I'm a huge fan of Quinn Hughes, which is hilarious because I am not a big fan of Jack Hughes. I don't know. Something about his personality. Maybe he'll grow up to be like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say much on that. But anyways, I love Quinn Hughes. I love the Canucks. I have a bias for the Canucks because for the longest time, my favorite player in the entire world Luongo played for the Canucks, so there's a special place in my heart for this team. So I hope that I'm completely wrong, and they somehow take over and make a playoff spot, or maybe even surprise us and go even further. They weren't far off. I don't remember what year was when they make it in the playoffs or the Stanley Cup Finals.
2 years ago. Not last year, but the year before.
1970s.
I love this team. So, but everything you said, I absolutely agree. That is right. That's the correct take.
All right, so we move on to number 4.
Number 4.
Who's cracking the? Yep.
Who's cracking the yep?
You're saying Seattle is your number 4 pick?
Yeah, you know.
I agree. I put Seattle at 4th.
I put Flames.
That's okay. That's a good spot for them.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no comment why. Just it's kind of like a felt right.
The Flames, they're not feeling hot for you?
Well,
No.
they're more lukewarm, you know. They're not melting the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Flames. They always seem to have good music in their arenas. Makes me, I don't know. It's true. It's true. You watch a Flames game and you tell me that their music is crap.
I don't know. I've never noticed, but now I will.
Now we'll have to pay attention.
Yeah, we'll have to, and then we'll let Molly know what we think.
Yeah, they put on a show. Like you know, the Flames on a show. But I think 4 middle of the board's a good place to them this year because they haven't really done too much shifting up and down in terms of like players, I feel. But you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But now tell me about your Kraken place. What are they lacking, so to speak?
Kraken lacking. The Kraken, I think it's a good place for them, considering we're not really sure. You know, we've never seen them play an entire season yet. It's their first season, obviously. So I just slot them right in the middle because you never know. They can take that playoff spot or they can be really sad at the bottom. I'm not sure. But I will say this team is pretty, it's not flashy, but it's very balanced, which is the take. This is what I was hoping the team would do, you know? You should balance your team if you're going to start off because you can grow and build from there. You're not completely at the bottom and you're not risking it all with top players, right? So they're just really in the middle. I think we need to keep an eye out for Morgan Geekie. Obviously, I'm a Geekie fan. He was a Kane for a little bit there. Pretty cool. And I don't know. I think the other thing that they have going for them is something that Molly would agree with, but Grubauer. Grubauer is awesome. I love that guy. Wee.
I think their goaltending tandem is pretty solid.
Yeah, because Drieger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Drieger.
I never know how to pronounce it parce que there's a DG in there. I don't know.
So for Seattle, I agree with you. I think they're the biggest question mark on the board because we literally never saw them play. I think they're well constructed enough that, like you said, they should be somewhere in the middle. I don't know if they necessarily make the playoffs, but I feel like if they miss, they might just miss only by a little bit. But it'd be nice to see them make it, at least like as like a wild card or something like that. I like the players on this team. A lot of good, solid, middle of the road players. There's no like X factor that puts them above, but it didn't look like there was that early on in Vegas, and Vegas came out of nowhere. But so far, from what we've seen in the first few games, this doesn't seem like it's going to be a repeat of Vegas, of course. Hard to see that happening, but Yanni Gord is finally back in the lineup, so hopefully that starts pushing the team forward. But in the early games, Jared McCann and Brandon Tanev have looked really good. So I think they might be able to help push the team forward a little bit. And their defense core does look relatively good on paper. We'll see how well it gels together on the ice over time. And like we said, the goaltending seems solid. So it kind of, I'm kind of curious as to see why they haven't performed better. like I feel like I could see them squeezing out a few more wins than they have already, but and it's still all uncertain. So I'm hoping to see some good stuff from them, but it's an expansion team. Aside from Vegas honestly was the exception, not the rule. Typically, expansion teams, it takes a while for them to get their shit together, basically. But it seems decent enough.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see exactly.
Maybe the chemistry starts building and they start gelling together as time moves on, right?
They might. They seem like that cute little family. Who knows? Okay. Number 3, guys. Almost there.
We are almost there. Ooh. This is where it gets wacky. Well, it's always been wacky for me. But 3, I put the Canucks.
Oh, okay. A little higher in the Canucks.
Hope you're right.
Yeah. I actually did write something for the Canucks.
Ooh!
I said, I don't know why I wrote this. I think I had too much coffee. But what I've written is, in capitals, they've got speed. They've got strength. They have a good offense. Is that poetry? Maybe. I don't know.
It's like a haiku or something.
And then in like italics, I have JT Miller, Demko. So you take that how you will.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
If the young guys perform well, I could see them being in 3rd place. I feel like 3rd place is pretty up for grabs considering the middle of the road kind of quality of every team. There's one team that's going to overperform. It could be the Canucks.
Well, last year I put them in 3rd place as well because I thought that their young stock was going to show up and do well in the Canadian League, but then they had that utter COVID crisis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I kind of feel really bad for them. So
it doesn't help having Pettersson just out the whole time, right? Basically.
Yeah. So I feel like they had a bad season last year, and hopefully this year they actually are going to bounce back because they actually do have the players for it. It's not like they had people returning from injury or anything like that. It's because they had shit luck last year. So yeah. So that's a valid reason. Valid Canucks in 3rd. Yeah. How about you guys?
Flames.
Me too. Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
I don't know why I did that. I would normally slot them in 4 or 5. There must have been a reason why I put them there. I will say the team's mostly unchanged. Well, the core is anyways. The only thing different is that Giordano obviously is the captain of the Kraken. So that sucks for them. That sucks for them. Yeah, absolutely right. They have Johnny Gaudreau. I'm actually a fan of him. I know that people are up in the air because he's a hit or miss most of the time. When he's on, he's on. When he's not, he's not. Besides that, I'd say I think most of the team's mostly unchanged except for Zadorov, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of the problem.
That's where I'm coming at. This is where I'm coming at. I don't know why I put them in 3rd, guys. I actually regret it.
Personally, I put them in 3rd because I feel like they kind of have to perform this year. I do think they have to do better than last year, and I could see it happening.
Yeah. Make or break moment.
Yeah, I do feel like the core of this team, like you said, it hasn't changed a lot in the last little while, and I think that's the thing. If they don't perform this year, it's going to have to change. Like, heads are going to roll if they don't perform well.
Yes.
But it's the sort of scenario where, like, you look on paper and you're like, they have enough good players here and enough good, like, talent that's supposed to be in their prime anyways, that you figure they should perform better. And then every time they seem to just let you down, right? And they've had some on and off years. Like, they've obviously, like, what is it? We're two or 3 seasons removed from them being first in the West, right? So it's like, it's not impossible for them to perform well. But they've been all over the place. So, again, this division seems to be kind of a who wants to take the last playoff spot, right? Like, anybody, if you want to play better, you can take it. So I could see the Flames doing it. I think they have the pieces where they can do it. But this is definitely my least confident pick I kind of only put them there because I don't know how well the other teams are going to perform. I could definitely see Calgary miss the playoffs, but I think if they get their shit together just well enough, they can make it. Johnny Gaudreau's still a good player. Elias Lindholm's still a good player, and Matthew Tkachuk is definitely a good player.
They just got Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman's a good addition. Monahan's kind of starting to disappear into the lineup, unfortunately. Their defense core is okay. It's decent enough, and I think Markstrom should be good enough to carry them in net. Although their backup goaltender Daniel Vladar is very much untested.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I'm still I'm on the fence too. I don't feel good putting them in third, but
yeah, I feel actually like, why did I do that? I don't know.
I'm leaning towards third, but again, it's still, I feel between that and Seattle, Vancouver, even LA and San Jose. It's like any one of those teams could overperform and take that third spot. It's hard to say.
We haven't mentioned this, but I think all three of us can agree that the Pacific is obviously the worst.
Yeah, division. That's the thing. And that makes it hard to figure out who gets the playoff spot, because if they're all mediocre or like bad, then who wins enough to make it?
Yeah. Anyways, Are we on to the second?
We are on to the second. Home stretch.
Okay, let's see. I think we have a couple teams left that have gone unsaid. So, Molly, what's your number 2? What?
Kings.
Wow.
The Kings! I'm wheezing. Okay.
My comment for this one is, I keep hearing that they're up and coming.
So eventually they have to come up, right?
Yeah.
They have to. People say it. So.
Like, I did this. I think I had about 6 cups of coffee and I was completely past it at this point. So I just put Kings here. I don't know if it's just to fuck with people, but I think it is at this point. But also, can you imagine? Kings just come second. Kings just look down at like the Knights there, just like, hey guys, King beats Knight. You know?
Listen, if you're right, Molly, with all these weird picks, I say that every year for a tradition, we get you pumped up on coffee or alcohol and you do your predictions. And people will bet on your picks.
I'm going to get a Devils t-shirt and a Kings t-shirt now.
Yes! Oh my gosh, you have to. If it happens, you have to. That's just the rule.
That's just how it goes, guys.
Oh my God. They do have a lot of good young players and some young prospects, so I do see them getting better eventually. It's just a matter of when does it start clicking.
Because they're up and coming, right?
It starts clicking now.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, how about you guys?
So when the Kings end up in second place at the end of the year, Molly told us.
Molly told us.
You heard it here first, guys.
Okay, I have the Oilers.
I also have the Oilers.
There you go.
Let me guess.
All I have to say,
look, Daddy said so.
You can't. If you're betting against McDaddy, you are McDone. Okay.
I'm a McLosing.
You're McLosing. You're a McLoser. The Edmonton McOilers. That should be their new name. Anyways, you have the people that are obviously good with McDavid. You got Zach Hyman. Okay, listen. I don't even want to talk about him. I'm moving on. I'm too hurt. I'm way hurt. The last minute, they re-signed Nuge. I'm not surprised. I was hoping that he would. What I'm surprised at is that there was really a conversation at all. Yamamoto is probably still hot and pot. I actually haven't checked how they've been doing.
Pretty good.
They're doing really good, though, right? I believe they haven't lost.
They won their
really
first
good.
5 games.
Yeah. They're the opposite of Montreal.
Yeah, true.
Stop it. People are triggered. Yeah, so they're doing really, really good. So that means my guess isn't terrible right off the bat, you know? I would be stupid to not mention Draisaitl. I'm sorry if I didn't. If I offended you by not naming him off the bat.
You upset me.
Apologies, ma'am. Yeah, so this team is pretty well. I'm a liar. I was gonna say well balanced. I wouldn't say that.
Or top
They have
heavy.
yeah, they're
Are we
top heavy.
talking about the Oilers here? Because
Yeah,
that
that's
is not a balanced team.
no, that was a mistake. What I literally meant to say was top heavy. Okay, like what Jesse just said. Because honestly,
They need to go have some leg day.
without these people to work around, they would be last. Okay, they're messy to me. I've watched them play. If McDavid has an off day, sorry, you're losing. You know,
Like I said, 2-person team.
2-person team with some good people around, and then mostly not great. Like the bottom six.
Open net. Just put McDavid on the ice. See what happens.
Yeah,
I will say I think they are primed for a good regular season, and we've seen it lately. They seem to be really doing better in the regular season overall in the last little while. So I think they're going to keep that up, which is why I put them in second. I could even see them making it first, honestly, if they can just keep producing points and they can just keep winning those games. They could end up in first, but I still think they are completely untested in the playoffs, and I don't have a lot of faith in them when it gets to that point.
No, exactly. I agree with you. Playoff, I don't know. Regular season, yes, but I have
different.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's completely different. It's wild.
But I think they should get some credit for some off-season moves. I don't think every off-season move was great, but I think there are some good ones.
Cody Ceci.
Yeah, okay. So on defense, Cody Ceci, very, very questionable choice. I don't have faith in that at all.
Cody to see you later, okay?
Yeah, and the Duncan Keith thing too. It's like, I don't know, man. Is that really going to work out? Probably not.
And in my notes here, I have Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen. Please fix.
Right? It's like we're just running back the same thing again. Which, to be fair, Mike Smith getting older, still.
Oh my god,
up,
big 4-0.
But it's gonna the dam's gonna break at some point, right? He can't keep it up forever. Plus, he's injured right now, so I don't know how long that's gonna last. And Mikko Koskinen has always been decent to mediocre. You know, never great, never good, just either okay or meh.
Yeah.
But I think their top six finally looks real good with the addition of Zach Hyman. And Kyler Yamamoto is obviously proved himself last year. Even Jesse Puljujarvi seems off to a good start, all things considered. So I think that top six is super solid. It's the bottom six that worries me the most. It's very bland. Again, it's the depth issue, right? With them, like you said, it's mostly a two-player team. I don't think it's a two-player team anymore. Like, I do believe some of the supporting cast will finally help out, and it'll be good. But I still think they're missing some pieces. But I think they're still good enough to be second in the division for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, we're here. The very last place spot, which is first
I'm trying
place.
to think, who did Molly leave left over for number one?
Kraken?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I can't.
Oh boy.
I put Kraken. I said Grubauer's king. This is what the fans want to see. Make it happen, refs. They have money.
Oh my god.
What the Knights did they not?
Yeah,
they
were clever. They were clever with their off-season moves.
Yeah, I put Kraken. I put Kraken as one. What are you gonna do?
Why the fuck not? If they are there, Molly, you know what to do. Kraken t-shirt.
It's
Kraken
their
t-shirt.
first season, so there's a limitless potential, right?
Yeah, who knows? Like it might not even be outside of that box, really.
The world is your oyster.
Case of Kraken.
Eldritch horror. Yeah.
Also, I feel like this is totally off topic, but I feel like there should be an albatross team.
What?
I don't know. I'm getting tired.
Like the Halifax albatross.
Wow, you fucking did it. There it is.
You're welcome. I want a t-shirt. Yeah?
Yes. Oh my god. Make it.
What?
Make one.
Seattle is not just going to be number one. Nay. They are going to be President Trophy material.
Yes.
You're getting it here. They're gonna win all the cups.
Yeah, totally.
Someone's gonna get a colder on there.
Watch us be wrong. She's right, and then she just
Right, your
replays
Pacific Division is leaving me speechless.
Speechless.
But I
What
will
can I say?
have a good laugh if any of them are accurate by the end. If one of them are correct, we're gonna say you're like a
wizard,
fortune teller, right?
You're a wizard, Molly.
I'm a hockey wizard, and we will watch
They
a
should
game
hire you.
together. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to go back and watch another game. Anyway, tell me why the fuck you both put Knights as number one? Tell me.
I don't know. Listen, I am questioning my entire thing, but we already talked about why that is. You know, it's a very interesting thing, but
it's because my takes make sense. That's obviously why.
Yeah. They do. They totally do. But really, the team looks pretty much the same, right? They have a couple of acquisitions with Dadonov, Nolan Patrick, who used to be a favorite of mine, but he's no longer someone I like. So there you go. You know, they still have their top people. Their top centers are Stevenson, William Karlsson. Even though I will say it's kind of a weakness right now, I would say. I think they need a little bit of an upgrade. They do have wingers that are good. Pacioretty, Marchessault. See, that, to me, that's a good, solid... Their wingers are solid to me. Those are the names I recognize.
The center position where they're really, like, lacking.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. The defense is obviously good. The Knights are really good with their defense. I think that they're lacking with their centers. I think, Molly, you said that their defense was looking meh, that might be their weakness. I don't remember. It might have been a different team.
They all look meh.
The goaltending, right? So, obviously, I'm pretty sure me and Channelle have them this high up just because, I mean, recency bias, history, the last few seasons, it all seems to point to Vegas. They just keep making their way to the top of the Pacific. It just doesn't change. So, until I see them really falter, I'm going to put them up here. Obviously, the beginning of the season has been a little rough for them, but I don't think there's anything stopping them from making up that ground again, right? Like I said, the Oilers, I could see the Oilers maybe surpassing them and then they end up in second, but I'd be very surprised if they fall below second. I think they still have a solid enough team that's the same from last year mostly, minus a few specific things I'll mention there. But overall, it's still a well-built team, I think. But I do believe some cracks will start showing this season because you had alluded to earlier, Molly, about Ryan Reeves being traded away. Although I don't think he's much of a great hockey player necessarily, he's a really good energy guy. He's a good bruiser, right? Like, he's the guy that makes the team hard to play against. He hits a lot. He trash talks a lot. So I think that aspect of the team is now kind of missing, where like they used to be a lot tougher to play against. Now it's a lot of more like skill guys. So you do lose that part of the team, that aspect of it. And Marc-André Fleury being gone is a rough one because he was so great with the team. And to be fair, I still think Robin Lehner is a great goaltender. I still think he can carry the team well enough. But instead of having now both Lehner and Fleury, right, two really good goaltenders, now you have Lehner and Brossoit, which I don't have a lot of confidence in Brossoit. I don't think he was the best backup goaltender in Winnipeg, honestly, and I'm surprised they signed him and that they signed him to that money. I'm not too sure about that move because they lost Pacioretty at the beginning of the season, and Alex Tuck is also missing. Now Mark Stone is injured, and he might be out for a few weeks. Alex Martinez, I believe, is now day-to-day. So that's one less defenseman there to work with. But their defense core is still amazing. I still think, with Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore, Brady McNabb's also pretty good. White Cloud has showed some promise. I think it's all really good. Those wingers, obviously, like Channelle said, all good. It's really just that center depth. And I think the injuries a little bit. I think they're going to show some cracks this season, but they're still so solid. And the past history performances, it felt weird not putting them first.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, it felt great not putting them first.
To be fair, okay, all jokes aside, I
Mhm.
do think Oilers are going to do well this season. Top 3 definitely. And Knights, of course, are going to make the top 3. But I really hope that I'm right in terms of Kraken and Kings. So, yeah.
Could be fun.
Could be fun. Also, I don't hate all Knights fans.
She purges after this.
I said
Like
the
the
word
Knights,
too many times.
Oh my god, we did it.
We did it.
We got through it all.
Through it all. It was a lot, but it's necessary because we are set for the year.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying?
We are ready.
We've
Ready
heard other
to
opinions.
throw out all of our predictions in like month number 2, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, we did that last year. We did it in what, like November?
Yeah.
So no, not even that. We did it like February or something.
Yeah, I remember. It was pretty fun though, going
Super
back.
late. Oh gosh, it was so much fun.
We do an ending recap normally to see how good that went.
Yeah, reevaluate our choices and see how wrong
Yeah.
we were.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I will drink every time I am wrong.
Ooh.
Oh
Okay.
So you're gonna have probably a really fucked Molly in that podcast.
I'm okay with that. We're not being sponsored by anyone, so.
Oh no,
That
we're
could
not.
actually be a fun idea there for reevaluating the picks at the end of the year.
Yeah, we should all get drunk.
Podcast. Oh my god, can you imagine?
Maybe let's get Neutral to sponsor us. They're my BFFs.
Craft
Not
beer.
that
Oh no.
good wine. It's such a hard life.
So hard having good wine. I hate it. All right, guys. So yes,
Grind
there
my
it
Bordeaux.
is. We did all our predictions. We hope you enjoyed it. If you're here, like, wow, you're fucking committed. Okay. And
Just thanks.
thank you. Sounded so weird. Yes. So, anyways, thank you. Next week, we're going to go back to our regular kind of format where we're going to talk about the hockey news, maybe recap some games, depending if they were hot or not. And yeah, just some good fun times. So if you like us, why haven't you subscribed, huh? Tell me why. But also, you don't have to. It's your prerogative. But yeah, please subscribe to our channel. Please follow us also at this Hockey Pod on Twitter. You can also follow me at Channelle LV on Twitter. And Molly?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's just _Molly.
And Jesse?
I am nowhere.
He's actually a ghost.
Yeah, he actually just lives in the walls.
We were lying this whole time. He's actually no one, and this is our Halloween special. He's a ghost.
He's an anthropomorphic personification of the NHL website.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
I just don't post anything on social media, so I just write all my thoughts on a notepad and then nobody gets to see them.
Yeah.
I post them on my fridge, you know?
Post them on your fridge.
Yep.
Just for your own self. All right, well, that's it. Thank you so much, guys. See ya next week.
next week.